said, well, I'm getting this amount. Okay, we're getting recorded now. And another person said, well, I make this amount. So he got the secretary to actually write all the figures down, what everybody was getting, or the government was getting everybody a month. So we found out for the first time that the government was giving us a lot of money every month. And he said, you're getting enough money to free yourself if you know what to do with it, if you work together, if you stay together. Now, individually, you can only make it, to the next check, to the next month. But together, you got enough money to do something serious with. So at the time, there was a grocery store right across the street from the church, a small neighborhood grocery store. And he convinced us, we pooled our little money together, we got enough money together, this store was already operating. The gentleman that owned the store, he wanted to get out of the business. He knew my pastor, so we wanted to get in business. We raised enough money to make a down payment on the grocery store, and we were able to go into the grocery store. He taught us the grocery business, and the government was giving us money, giving us the food stamp. We were turning around as business owners now, shopping at our own grocery store. And then now as a business owner, taking those same food stamps, turning them back into the government, and the government paid us again. So we were getting paid twice by the government, and we had food to eat every day. So we were doing good. We were growing. We started with that one grocery store. We opened another little small store, convenience store, then another little small convenience store. We had about 4 stores in Meridian, Mississippi called Buyers Market before they really figured out, okay, this is what they're doing. So they got together with the wholesalers, the people that we were buying from, and convinced them to up their prices so we couldn't compete with everybody. So we didn't fight it. So what we did, our pastor said, well, we got to get ourselves in a position where we can't be controlled. So we started putting our money into the farm. We purchased a little 55-acre piece of property over in ML, Alabama, which is in Sumter County, Alabama. And everybody moved there. We left the city, left Meridian, and we moved to ML, Alabama. And we started raising our own crop. We put our money into cattle. We put our money into hogs. Whenever any property came up, this was back during the Reagan era. And at that time, if you remember, some of the older guests on the screen today, if you remember, that's when Reagan had this policy of told all the farmers either have to pay up or liquidate because the banks was in a lot of trouble at that time. So the farmers had to liquidate, most of the farmers, because they didn't have the money to pay up. And we was right there. God had put us in a position at that time where we could go to the auctions, absolute auctions, and we purchased land. So our money went into the land. Then we was able to save money and buy equipment. So the rest is history. So we went from 0 to over 4,000 acres of land. We owned 2 or 3 restaurants. At one point, we owned our own processing plant. At another point, we owned a couple of motels. We lost the motels over the years. We let the processing plants go over the years, but we still have the 4,000 acres of land. We have about 4,000 head of cattle. We have our own neighborhood. Right now, I'm in one of the houses. We got 22 homes in the neighborhood that I live in. We have a church sitting right here in the middle. We have a home for the aged because we have to take care of our seniors. And we have our own private school because we got to educate our own children. Public schools is only going to educate the man educate your children to be a better servant for him. So you have to smarten up a little bit. We have to educate our own kids and teach them things that public school won't teach them. So we have our own private school. We have about 5 or 6 charter buses. So much and so on. We raise goats, got about 60, 70 heads of goats, got about a little over 1,000 chickens, but we eat our own fresh chicken eggs. So we're doing a lot of farming. We raise crop, we raise corn, but most of that is consumed by the cattle that we have. on and on and on. So that's just a little bit about me. Personally, I didn't go any further than high school. As soon as I finished high school, I jumped right into this vision that my pastor had. And they always told me that experience teaches you better than education. So I'm experiencing a lot of different areas, a lot of different things that we had to learn to do ourselves. A lot of business, construction, carpenter work, electric work. We got somebody in our organization within our church that knows how to do all those things that I just named: mechanics, truck drivers, you name it, we have it. So it's not just me, but it's a whole church family. And the way we live in the book of Acts, my pastor went back to the book of Acts, chapter 4, where they had all things in common. Everybody in our neighborhood, everybody that's a member of our church is a part owner of everything that we have. Nobody gets left out. So it doesn't matter what educational level, it doesn't matter how much money you make, that doesn't matter. You get according to your needs, and it is working. We've been doing this ever since, we've been organized ever since 1977, but we've been doing it a lot longer than that. But organization-wise, we formed a nonprofit organization called Reach Incorporated, and it was founded in 1977. So here we are. Thank God for this golden opportunity that Mrs. Nabantu, I think I got that name correct, because we've been looking for a way to get the word out that Black people can do. We can come together and do something positive. You know, people don't want this to get out. They don't want this story to get out. A lot of negative things been written about us because they don't want us to come together. Because when we really come together, we are a powerful group of people. We are smart, we're intelligent, we're inventors, and we've done it down through history. In fact, we're still doing it now, but we're doing it for somebody else. And the other man has fooled us that we're free, but we're not free. You know, we're not free because we're still working for them. We might be making a little bit more money than what we used to, might be driving nicer cars, maybe living in nicer homes, but when you're not free until you totally dependent on yourself and God. So that's a little bit about me. You have to cut me off because I keep talking and talking and talking. This has been my whole life. I've never had a public job a day of my life. I've always done this. I have 4 kids. I've been married for 34 years, and I'm doing fine. The church is doing fine. Our elderly is taken care of, and our children are taken care of, and it's a great experience.
That is so wonderful to hear. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, because I don't have the screen up. I guess my co-coordinator, Raina, has her screen up instead of mine, so I can't see anybody but you. But
all right.
Open up the floor.
And I can see you just fine.
Well,
if you can hear me, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
This is Adelifu Sanyika in good old Decatur, Georgia, right next door to Atlanta.
Yes, sir.
You described a situation where the oppressors got together and had the wholesalers raise their prices. Aside from that, have you ever been in a situation where you've had to defend yourself or your property against marauders?
Oh, yes, sir. Legal matters?
Well, legal or physical or whatever.
Not physically so, but definitely legal. Ever since we got this property, like I said, most of the property that we own, we bought it from white farmers. So, because, you know, they didn't like that. So from up until this day, we've had people trying to, some way or the other, take our property. We're going to do some legal issues right now, defending the property. And we've been in the battle, this last battle, for about 5 or 6 years, in and out of court. But you know, I think as long as God is on our side, and I think that's been the glue that's held us together, as long as he's on our side, I don't think we can lose. we just got to keep fighting. He that endures until the end. So we just enduring. We got it. We can't stop. It's gonna always be a fight. I don't care how big you get. You're gonna always have somebody out there trying to take what you have. So that's just part of the deal. Like, it just goes along with it. So yes, sir. But
Well,
we got something worth fighting for.
If I might add, I'm proud of you for all sticking in there and making it work. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I agree. I'm just amazed. You've been doing this for 40 years. And,
yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
So many communities, except I know there's one in Mississippi. They've been around for 40 years. It's an Islamic community. It started with just 5 families, and they're still there. But what you just talked about is quite a bit you've accomplished, and your community has accomplished, the church has accomplished. It's amazing what you have done, and it's a great example of the sustainable community that we're looking to have. And a lot of us who are looking into sustainability, we realize it's some work, and we're going to have to bring in our generations of our grandchildren to come in and get them in the mindset of what freedom really means. Like I tell my grandparents, you're not a man. They 19, and my oldest are 19 and 20, and they talk about they a man. They grown. You're not grown till you stay in your own house paying your own bills. That's what I call
responsibilities. That's right.
So as a community, we're not
that's correct.
Take care of ourselves, not dependent on somebody else. And that's
correct.
So are there other questions? Let me open up the mic for everyone.
India's husband. The whole room was quiet. Everybody, gave him the evil eye.
To do it one by one.
All right. But anyway, while you keep talking until we find somebody that have any other questions. I would like to say.
Oh, go ahead.
I would like to say that, I know a lot of Black organizations that started out and meant well and did a lot of good. Most of the ones that I know, we have one right in this area where I live now, this is in Greene County, Alabama, which is Utah, Alabama. We have one organization right over in Sumter County, Alabama, called the Federation of, it's called the Federation. Anyway, they're a Black group. They got a huge grant from the government to get started, and they opened up a cannery. They put a lot of people to work. They own farmland, and they was really doing good until the money started coming pretty good. And the people up top got to arguing and getting into it over the money. Who's going to handle this? And who's going to do this? And who's going? You making more than I'm making. You getting more than I'm getting. And then you got into a big fight. And next thing you know, the organization split up. People lost their job. The only people that came out of the organization with something were the ones that's on the top. And that was sad. But that's one of our main hang-ups when it comes to us as far as coming together. When there's money involved, who's gonna get what, and who's gonna do this, how much you gonna get. Well, you making more than I'm making. Next thing you know, the little person is the one that always hurt. And most organizations that I know, they fall apart because of the money. And in our situation here at Reach or at Greater Christ Temple Church, we excluded money. Okay, nobody gets paid. Everyone, as I said earlier, everyone is part owner in everything. I get what I need. I'm married, like I said earlier. I have a wife. I got 4 kids, and I needed a brick house. One of the houses that we own, I was able to get one of the houses. So it doesn't matter if you're the guy just cutting the grass or cleaning the restrooms. If you have a need for whatever it is you have a need for, then you can get it. So there's no big I's and no little U's. And I think that's the way God intended for it to be. Yeah, we have people. We have our pastors, our ministers. We have our deacons, our board members, secretaries. But there are no big I's and there are no little U's as far as finance is concerned. Everybody is part owner of everything. So we don't have that fight. And I think that's another very important key. The reason we've been able to survive, because you can't fool me. You can't buy me with money. And that's another thing. You know, you can't buy, my pastor's been offered this and offered that. You can't buy any of us with money. And money has been one of our, Achilles heels. Something that's always took us down. Always is they always find a weak link in the chain, and most of the time they're able to buy them out with something, some type of way. And it's always been about control. The man has always controlled us. He's always held our jobs over our head. And it's sad, but I know a lot of my friends that I went to high school with. A lot of their parents left them land. Grandparents and grandparents had land, left them land, and as soon as they got out of school, or as soon as the parents died, and they didn't want anything to do with the farm, and they just sold the land, moved to the city. Now they don't have the money or the land, and they're just in the city. And if it ever comes to a point where this country goes into a depression, or the value drop out of the dollar, they just there. If they can't work, they can't survive. So we fall right back into the hands of the man, where he controls us. So we have to really think serious about that. Land is important. Wealth is in the land. It's not in your job. It's not in the money that you put in the bank. It's in the land. Because everything comes from the land, and we have black people all over this country, all over the world, that knows how to get the value out of the land. We're just doing it for somebody else, but it's just time for us to come together as a people and do for ourselves.
You're so right, Barry, and I love everything you said, because it falls right in line with, there's an organization here called Us Lifting Us. Ulu is what we call ourselves, and okay. It's all about everybody having one vote. No matter how much money you have, everybody has a share. Everybody has ownership, and I think that's the best model that we can use in order to keep our people together and move forward in the future. So your sustainable community is a prime example of what a lot of us are looking for. And so what you're saying, we do have it recorded, and I also have recorded this on my phone, because everything you said is very valuable to our people in terms of how do we sustain ourselves. We, think that, you got all this money and that's supposed to make you better than someone else. We have this ego problem. We have a lot of issues, and some of the participants on this particular summit have some solutions. Wakesa and Afia talked about it, and there were some other presenters who talked about how we need to start taking a look at
I hear you.
Yes.
We over time, we were supposed to stop at 6:30, but we started, because of all the issues that we had to take place. And our next presenter is not till 8 o'clock, so we're going to go on for maybe at least 15 minutes more. And
sure, we can keep talking. I love to talk. I like doing more, but I love to talk, because people need to know this. And another thing is, we've forgotten about inheritance, and most of our people in our psyche right now, inheritance just don't exist anymore. We don't leave our kids an inheritance. We live for the now, the here and the now. How much money I can get you, and we leave our kids a lot of bills to pay. That's what they inherit from us now. But we got to get to a point where we can leave our children, you know, an inheritance. That we got to leave them a good chance, you know, to make it up the road a little further than we made it. And we have to look at ourselves, and we got to look at all around the world. Our people still, we're still behind. You know, we started behind, but we can get ahead. But we got to come together. Only way to do it is together. You know, we have a lot of individuals that seem to be doing pretty good, but they're just that. They're individuals. But us as a people, we as a people, every large city you go into, you know, when you're on the black side of town, it's just facts. And we have to face facts. We really do. And it boils down to our leaders. Our leaders have to step forward and put aside their concerns and get the people's concern at heart. That's where the problem is our leaders. You know, he went on to throw it all on them, but that's who they are. They're our examples. They are the ones that are supposed to show us what to do, how to do. We will follow if we are led. Yes.
Because I'm sure there may be some other questions. I just want to quickly ask about the Federation. Was that the Federation of Southern Farmers?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I had been in contact with them as a part of the College and Cultural Festival. I was always trying to get the farmers there, some of them who are close by, to come in and sell their products. And I heard that they had sort of fallen apart, but I didn't know why. But now,
yeah, well, that's what happened.
Yeah,
that's what happened. You know, they still have a little summit, some sort, every year, but they're not doing anything. They just have a name that's out there, and you know, and it's sad because they're a black group, and they got a lot of they like I said, they had a huge grant that they got years ago, and it kind of put a black eye on this area. If we any other black group in this area try to get any government funds, you know, it's like, well, that was like a failed project. We put money in, you know, we put money into the black community, and it fails. You know, what's going to go different now? So, you know, we never got a grant. We never got any government funds. One reason the government always has they always have a tag attached. You know, they always want to take control of what you do. They want to change the concept. They want to set the rules. So we don't need anybody to set the rules. Just give me a chance. Give me equal opportunity. You know, we have our civil rights. A lot of people died for our rights, but I just want equal rights. Give me the same opportunity that you have, and I can show you what I can do. So, exactly. But they're not going to finance our freedom. They're not going to do it. We got to do it ourselves. Yeah. And the only way to do it is together.
The points are well taken.
Yes.
I'd like to continue to ask if there are any other questions from any of the people who are participating in this session.
Yes, ma'am. This is Adolfo again.
Yes.
I'm not exactly how to formulate this question. In terms of comparing yourself to the other group that failed, what I'm seeing is that you all act as a collective, a consensus.
Yes,
there's a unanimous agreement among everybody. Is there a process that you use to reach and maintain that consensus?
No, our background is the church. The pastor's in charge. Plain and simple. You know, yes, we have a board of directors, but he has a great influence on our direction. We all have a voice, but he talks to God. God talks to him. He talks to the people, just like God spoke to Moses, and Moses spoke to the people. There was one point where the people wanted to speak to God for themselves, and it wasn't long before they said, "No, we don't, Moses. We don't want to talk to the people. We don't want to speak to God. You can talk to God." So God speaks to our pastor. Our pastor speaks to us. there's a head, there's a body, but your body only has one head. It has a lot of members, but it only has one head. And until we acknowledge the head, because the head, all the instructions come from your head. You know, I have eyes, they're part of my head, nose, mouth, but my eyes can only see. It can only tell my brain, give it information. My nose can smell, but it can only give information to my brain. My mouth can speak, my ears can hear, but it can only give information to my brain. And then the brain has to decipher what's what. Brain have to give the instructions to the rest of the body. And I think that's the way God intended it for it to be. Because it says the body of Christ is made up of many members, but one body. We all have many members, but we have to, your body, if one leg is going one direction and the other leg going another direction, your body is abnormal, is not functioning correctly, and you will get nowhere because you're working against yourself. So, but your head is the one that tells everybody, every part of every member of your body what to do. If a fire break out in your house right now, your head is going to tell your legs and everything else to get up, go to the fire, or get out. Nothing, no part of your body makes that decision. Your head does it. So that's what we base this on.
I want to come in and ask another question that relates to what Alifu just said. What happens, because your minister is like 84 or 91?
So what now?
How old is your minister?
Oh, my pastor is 91 years old.
Okay, so at 91, is someone behind him, is in training behind him? So.
Oh yes, definitely so. We have another minister named Minister Dawson. He's been here about 45 years. So his train of thought is right in line with our pastor. Behind him, we have deacons that's been here over 40-some years. Their train of thought is in the same line as his. So if our pastor dies today, we have people already in place. We have people that run the office. We have, like I said, we have our board members that everybody would have to answer to. And these people have the same mindset as our pastor. We have somebody that runs our farm, somebody that does the mechanics, somebody does the heat and air, our carpenter work. We have everybody, but everybody's on the same page. And everybody has to come and like I said, every morning our pastor gets up. Every morning, 5:30, comes over and he sits down and talks to the men of the church. And we sit down and talk about what we're going to do today, what we did yesterday, and we move forward. But we all do it. Everything we do it together. There's nobody sitting back making a decision on their own about we're going to do this or that. You know, we all sit down and we collectively agree. We disagree, but we agree at the end of the day. We agree is what we decide we're going to do.
For example, would you mind for those who practice requirements? Anyone else have a question?
Yes, appreciate your contributions, Barbara. This is Brother Elisha in Chicago. I wanted to ask about just two kind of questions in terms of like process. So is your farming organic? Are you all using pesticides or chemicals or anything like that? Are you, that kind of piece? And then also, go ahead.
Go ahead. We're organic.
Okay.
Right
great.
now we're organic. It's hard to say. And I want to be honest. It's hard to say 100% organic.
Right. Well, that's
in order to say 100% organic, you got to know where everything that you're using. You got to know where everything comes from and what's in it.
Absolutely.
But as close as we can get it, we're organic.
Absolutely.
We are very conscious about try to be conscious about what we eat.
Absolutely. Which leads ever participated in, ran, or contributed to other people's community-supported agriculture or CSA or Black farmers markets or things like that in the region?
Say that one more time.
Have you all offered or participated or distributed your produce to community-supported agriculture, so CSAs or Black farmers markets in the region?
No. In fact, there are no Black farmers market in our region, in our area. I won't say the region, but in our area.
Okay.
Mainly, yes, in the community or in the city that we live in, is predominantly Black. Like the city of Utah, where we live, is about 75% Black.
Right.
We live in what we call the Black Belt of Alabama. So we do a lot of our sales is just from door to door, people that we know on the corners here, on the corners there. But we hadn't went out to other Black markets.
Absolutely. And the reason why I bring that up is because I like when things go full circle. So we had a brother on this morning who talked about Hayati community in North Carolina. Is that pronounced correctly?
Okay.
Hayti, thank you.
Hayti.
I knew I got that wrong. We talked about the importance of engaging folks from the church and collaborating with folks from the church and working together, et cetera. And, it's something that I want to reach out to you after this call, after the summit, to kind of figure out how we can engage in distributing your produce to more people, because we need more Black growers and producers.
Right. I'll tell you what we did do some years back. We went straight to the church. We had several churches that we knew. In fact, we delivered a load of watermelons up to Chicago a few years back. That didn't work out right. But anyway, what we did, we made calls to the pastors, told them what products we had, and told them, the pastor got with their members and told them, look, we got a Black group or a church group that has XXX, YYY. It's going to cost this, this, and this. He had the money waiting. We came there and we just told him we'd be there Saturday morning at 8 o'clock, and we was there in the parking lot with a truck, and everybody was there and got what they paid for, and we picked the check up from the church, and we came back home when the truck was unloaded. That way we avoided any type of business license, because it was just they bought some product from us. We didn't have to come in and set up a market. We just made a phone call, and they did what they did, and so we avoided a lot of people trying to stop us. If we'd have went there and tried to set up a market, try to set up something, and they would have figured out a way to stop us, to block us. But this way, it was done quietly, just by phone call and communicating. And we was there at a certain time with a truck, and then the church did whatever they did on that end. That was up to them, however they charged them. But we had a product, we sold it for this amount. When we got there, they was there, unloaded it, and we left. So there are several different ways you can do it, and that's something we would be.
I appreciate that, Bob.
We would love to entertain.
Brother Walker, I have another question.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Are you aware of any other communities that are similar to your own anywhere in the South, around the country, or whatever?
Nowhere. I don't know any. It might be some. Okay.
There's one in Mississippi. They've been around for 40 years also, and there are an Islamic community. So it seems to me that survive are the ones who have a faith-based concept in terms of how they survive. And I haven't had a chance to go there, but I do hope to go to Utah quite soon, because many of us want part of this organization that we're putting together be prepared for next year, because next year we're going to have offline as well as online. And we certainly would like to have representatives come here, and we're talking about serious people coming and talking about
Right.
we can collaborate, what we each learn from doing our own disabled communities, and how we can share information. So I don't know the name of that community in Mississippi, but as we move forward with our summit, we can always add on information to our website, and we will do that. But that's the only other community I know of that's doing what that Barry Walker and his community is doing. It's the one in Mississippi.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't aware of them either, so I don't know of any. But I would love to meet them. I really would.
That's the whole purpose
Yes.
of this summit. It's connect the dots with people who don't even know that other people are doing the same thing that you're doing. So you can, start this collaboration and communication about how you're doing it, and learn the different mistakes and how you overcome certain things to make things better for your particular community. So,
right. And they might have something we don't have, and we might have something they don't have. It might be in trade, everything.
Yeah, one of the things I want to answer, how do you keep the youth there? Can't hear you. What happened?
What? Mom was saying how us getting that van would help her out. It's still on.
Yeah, I was keeping it warm for you. It's not on. It's just on low.
Okay, Barry, can you hear us? Oh boy, we've lost him. At least we lost the audio again. I don't know what happened.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. We sort of lost.
Okay.
So I was asking,
I can still see you.
I can only see you, nobody else, but that's cool. Doesn't
Okay.
matter.
I think they're still there.
I was wondering about the youth that comes through, because you said you have your own school, that you have your own institution with schooling.
Right.
What's happened to the children? Do they stay there? Do they go away? Do they come back? What happened?
No, we probably most of our youth, maybe 75% of them we lose. And I think that's just common. I think it's just normal. Children, at some point in their life, they want to go out and do something on their own. They want to try it on their own. They want to get away from mom, get away from dad. Most of the kids, I went to public school, and most of my friends, that's all they talked about. As soon as they got out of high school, as soon as they graduated, they moved to the big city, and with so many things they wanted to experience, and they wanted to go out and do it on their own. They wanted to be able to go and do when they wanted and how they wanted, come home when they get ready. How kids are. So you're going to have a lot of those that's going to do that. Some going to turn out to be pretty good. Some going to do pretty well. Some won't forget what you taught them, what they learned here. We have some that have left and came back and still contributing today. So, your youth, you just pray that they catch hope. You can do and try to train and teach. The Bible says, train up a child in the way that they should go. And that's all you can do as parents, as adults, is teach them. And when they get 18, they're on their own. You hope that they don't forget what you taught them. And hopefully they be a part and carry this on. Like I said, we got some that are still here, but never left. I'm one of them. I never left. I joined this organization when I was 10. This church when I was 10 years old, and I'm still here, never left. So you have a few others that way. Some leave, some come back. Some has went on to do their own thing. We got we had one girl, young lady that started her own trucking company. In fact, two of them started their own trucking company, and some are doing some other things. So, there's some negative and some positive. So, but we got to keep the fight.
Are you doing anything to attract new members?
No. No, I mean, we're not going out of the way to do anything to attract new members. Hopefully, we've been trying to figure out what can we do, how can we spread the word. So when I got this call, I was elated. I was happy. Maybe this way, get other members in, and to attract them into what we're doing. But no, that we're open. We're open for ideas, open for whatever. Because more people need to know about what we're doing and how we're doing. Because us as a people, we as a people, we're hurting. We need something like this. We need this type of support to sustain ourselves. We don't know what our president is going to do. We don't know what the next move is. But if all goes bad, we got to have something to fall back on. And right now, we don't. I hear a lot of, look like wind. Are we still there?
Yes, we're still here. I just
Okay.
muted everyone for the time being. But what we would like to do is to have you to give us your contact information for those of us on this presentation who would like to get more information. So
Okay.
I think Elijah is still there. He can put it in the chat as you give
Yes.
it to us. Your email address, or if you have a website or a phone number, so that folks can contact you and learn more about, or come and take a visit to your the property in your community.
Okay.
So could you give us your email address?
My email address is barrylw313@yahoo.com. That's all lowercase letters. That's barrylw313@yahoo.com. The reach or our office phone number is 1-888-235-8395. That's 1-888-235-8395. Our local number is 205-372-0113. And we are located at 312 Edwards Drive, Eutaw, Alabama. That's spelled EUTAW, Alabama, 35462.
Okay, Elijah, are you getting the address in? Because I know you have the email address and you have the phone number, but not the address. There we go. We have all the information we need to contact you, whatever we need to get back to you. We appreciate you participating with us today. I think all of us learned a lot. It's been quite inspiring to hear about what your community has done, Utah. And I think more people need to know. Somebody there needs to be writing a book about what you guys have done.
That would be great. We talk about it all the time, and like I said, our story has been suppressed. So, and there's been so many negative things that's been printed. We've been compared to David Koresh, to Jim Jones, and everybody else that try to keep our people from being attractive to come this way. So, man,
if more of us know about the legal battles that you guys are doing,
yes,
some of us can support you even from a distance.
Yes.
Just keep us up to date on what's happening legally, because we definitely want Utah to stay indefinitely. We don't want to lose it like we've lost some of our black townships over the century, actually. So,
right.
If there's not any other questions, This is your last time you got a question because we're getting ready to close out and have a little bit of a break before we go into our next presenter at 8 o'clock. So, are there any other pressing questions?
I have one question, just real quick. Since you talked about Federation of Cooperatives, there's a 1,000. No. Is it 1,000 acres? I think it's a 1,000 acre site there is it Utah? They own some land in the same space that are you familiar with that space that they own? It has a building on it.
I know they own land, but it's not in Greene County. It's actually in Sumter County. Which own land on. Sumter.
Which county? Sumter. Okay.
They're in Sumter County. Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, they got property right down from a piece of property that we own. In fact, we used to lease property from them.
Wow.
I don't know how much of the land they still own, but I know that they're not really, that what they were set up to do in the beginning, that has just dissipated. Like I said, they might still have land, but exactly what they're doing, I don't think they're really doing anything.
Okay. Questions? If not, we're going to close out. And again, we want to thank everyone for participating with us throughout this summit. So we have a couple more to go, and if you'd like to stay on and listen, Barry, to the rest of the presentations, it's your option to do that. So again, we have your information in our chat, so those of us that on this presentation can go and get that information from the notes on the chat. So with that, yes, you have one more word, final word?
Yeah, I didn't leave my personal cell phone number, and I don't mind giving it out. And if anybody wants to call me personally, we have a few other questions. My cell phone number is 205 499 0325.
Okay. Elijah, get that?
It's 205 499 0325.
You got it.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate the time, and God bless.
God bless, and have a great evening. Bless
All right,
you.
you too.
All right.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Yeah, but
Here
too,
right? Our next presenter will be Brother Shanoak Israel. His presentation is about eating in a changing world. And then after that, at 8:30, we'll have Kwabena Botane, who's going to talk about the foundation of sustainability. So we have about 45 minutes before the next presentation. So we'll just take a break until then and just come back with us at 8 o'clock. So thank you all for your patience, and given the technical issues we've had, you guys are still hanging with us. We appreciate it so much. All right, until 8 o'clock. We'll see you then.
Hi, Mama. Raina is currently unavailable. Please leave a message.